if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and off, okay?
Ricky Gervais has always been a provocateur, but in recent years, he's become something more, a sharp critic of Hollywood's virtue-signaling culture. From award shows to interviews, he's been on a mission to expose the hypocrisy of celebrities who preach from their ivory towers. And on the topic of hypocrisy, wait until you hear about the celebrity who went through a public humiliation just to remain relevant in woke Hollywood. More on that later, but here's the disclosure. Has Hollywood, the so-called moral compass of modern culture, gone too far with their performative wokeness? Or more accurately, have they been crushed by someone like Gervais, who dares to say what so many are thinking?
Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Let's take a look at the Golden Globes 2020, a night that will go down in history as the moment Ricky Gervais said what we were all secretly thinking. Celebrities had become predictable, using acceptance speeches as platforms to preach about climate change, diversity, or equality, all while sipping $500 champagne. But when Ricky Gervais stepped on stage that night, something was different. He wasn't going to play along. Instead, he skewered the room, pointing out their hypocrisy with surgical precision.
Talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
Gervais's takedown of Hollywood wasn't just about calling out the disconnection between celebrities and regular people. It was a message. Don't use your fame to pretend to be more virtuous than the rest of us. The reaction shots alone were worth the price of admission. After the Golden Globes, Twitter blew up. People couldn't decide if Gervais was a hero or a villain. Some called him brave for speaking the truth, while others thought he went too far. But here's where things get interesting. In the face of backlash, Ricky doubled down. He took to Twitter, responding to both his fans and his critics. His point? He wasn't going to apologize for holding celebrities accountable for their hypocrisy.
People come up and they say, I was offended by that joke. And, my first reaction is, I don't care. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't mean anything. You're telling me how you feel. What I want to say, why? And I'll explain to them. I'm willing to explain to them why the joke isn't offensive. I'm not one of those people that think, I'm going to say what I want, I'm going to be as offensive, and then go fuck you as a joke.
He wasn't attacking wokeness itself. His real target was the self-righteousness and hypocrisy of a group of people who claim to care about causes while enjoying the excesses of wealth and fame. Let's face it, there's something jarring about seeing a celebrity who owns private jets lecturing the world about climate change. Ricky Gervais saw this contradiction and wasted no time in pointing it out. Apple roared into the TV game with The Morning Show, a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. Gervais exposed the irony. Hollywood's biggest names, working for corporations that often violate the very ethical standards they claim to uphold. It wasn't just about the message, it was about how those delivering it were doing the exact opposite in their own lives. Cancel culture is another hot topic among woke celebrities. They're quick to cancel anyone who steps out of line. But Ricky Gervais, he has no interest in bowing to this pressure. But instead of playing it safe, Ricky continues to push boundaries. In interviews and on his social media, he's made it clear that cancel culture is nothing more than another way for people to control what others say.
Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, you know? It's... offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues, and sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that. But, you know, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing, you know, because I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires. And freedom of speech is so important these days. I've reached the age now where I don't care anymore.
By standing firm in his beliefs, our man Gervais has become a countercultural figure in a world where celebrities often say what they think the world wants to hear. Ricky, he says what he wants to say, regardless of who it offends. What drives Ricky Gervais to keep going? In his own words, it's his love for comedy and the truth. But in a world where political correctness is often prioritized over honesty, Gervais faces criticism for his no-holds-barred approach. Many argue that comedy should evolve with the times.
Yeah, but you shouldn't hurt people's feelings. Well, you can if their feelings are wrong.
Yeah,
You know, if you don't like the facts, don't change the facts, change the feelings.
Yeah.
You know. And also then they try and do this thing. Oh, you should never punch down. You should punch up. Well, who's to say what's up and down is?
Yeah, it's subjective.
So you're deciding who's down and who's up. No. You don't get to do that.
For Gervais, comedy is the truth. He doesn't believe in censoring jokes to make people comfortable. As he's famously said, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. So what impact has Ricky Gervais's criticism had on Hollywood? Has anyone really listened, or have they doubled down on their virtue signaling? But despite the awkward laughter and stunned reactions at the Golden Globes, Hollywood hasn't exactly slowed down on its woke activism. In fact, it feels like the performances have only become more elaborate. Remember that one guy we said might have joined the ranks of woke Hollywood? Well, it's weird because you can't see him, literally. But just a few months ago, he was everywhere, making headlines for one of the most cringeworthy stunts at the Oscars, walking on stage in nothing but his birthday suit and an envelope. Yep, we're talking about John Cena. So what's the deal? Was John Cena really pressured into this bizarre moment for some woke points? Or was it all part of his master plan? Cena's here to tell you the truth.
How did they convince you to do that?
It was funny. Jimmy Kimmel called me personally. He's like, I need you to come to the Oscars. I'm like, Jimmy, I'm in between stuff. Like, I need some time to recharge. And he's like, just let me send you the bit. And he sent it on paper, and I called him back. I'm like, when do you need me there?
So there you have it. Money talks. And in Hollywood, it's clear who holds the power. When it comes to Leonardo DiCaprio, everyone knows two things. He's an A-list actor, and he's got a track record with girlfriends younger than the movies he's won awards for. So when Ricky Gervais set his sights on Leo at the 2020 Golden Globes, it was like watching a master at work, taking down the king of Hollywood's bachelor scene with precision. Gervais, barely containing his smirk, began. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. By the end, his date was too old for him. The audience erupted in laughter, and even DiCaprio couldn't help but crack up. He knew it was coming, and Gervais delivered. It was a perfectly timed roast, acknowledging Leo's well-documented dating life in a way that only Ricky could, sharp yet playful. The best part? Leo's reaction. He took it in stride, knowing full well that his reputation wasn't exactly a secret. But of course, Gervais wasn't done there. He let the laughter subside, only to drop one more. Seriously, Leo, you're nearly 50. How's that working out for you?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So... even Prince Andrew's like, come on, Leo, mate, you know, you're nearly 50, son.
And if any of that was any less, Ricky isn't no behind in burning down the trans community. The comedy roast was so epic, we reckon even the out of community would have felt offended. But hey, Gervais said it loud and clear. Trans people are allowed to be offended. His Supernature special is a perfect example for his talent for pushing boundaries. One moment in particular has everyone talking, and for good reason. Gervais took a swing at the whole gender pronoun debate, and as usual, he didn't hold back. So here's the bit that got everyone's attention.
I love the new women. I know the new women. They're great, aren't they? You know, the new ones we've been seeing lately. The ones with beards and they're as good as gold. I love them. No, it's the old-fashioned. And now the old-fashioned, they go like, oh, they want to use our toilets. Why shouldn't they use your toilets? For ladies. They are ladies. Look at their pronouns. What about this person isn't a lady? Well, his penis. Her penis, bigot.
Gervais's take is classic, part outrageous, part hilarious. He's basically making fun of the contradictions in the whole pronoun and toilet debate. It's like he's holding up a mirror to the absurdities and saying, look, this is how convoluted it's getting. The humor here is sharp and the joke lands hard. It's a direct shot at what Gervais sees as the excesses of modern identity politics. You can't help but laugh, even as you're kind of stunned by how far he's willing to go. He's taking a serious issue and pointing out the ridiculousness of of it in a way only he can, making you laugh while also making you think. By calling out the hypocrisy of woke celebrities, Gervais forced us all to take a closer look at the messages being shoved down our throats. Are these celebrities really making a difference? Or are they just trying to sell us a new image? So what do you think? Is Ricky Gervais right about woke celebrities? Should Hollywood start practicing what it preaches? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos where we pull back the curtain on celebrity culture.